You got it.
Hi. Oh my God. Sorry. Hi, I'm Mabel, and I want to start off. I love your fashion sense, Ezra. It's beautiful.
Thank
I'm
you.
such a huge fan. So, what was your favorite part of playing Fantastic Beasts?
I guess going into it, I would have thought my immediate answer would have been being involved in the wizarding world in any way whatsoever. And that's still true. Again, that was one of my favorite parts. It will always be one of my favorite parts because it blows my mind, and it kind of melts my heart that I to look back on the meaning of that material for me as a young person. But ultimately, what I think ended up being my real favorite part was working with a group of people who we get to work with on those films, and the incredible cast and crew, and the writer, and the director, and our incredible producers who are just amazing. And it's just incredibly fun. It almost feels like an old-fashioned filmmaking experience, but in like a positive way, like without all of the like horrible stuff and recklessness and worker mistreatment and racism that accompanied old-time filmmaking. But it had like this really wonderful energy that's been on those sets, and then I also really love exploring the characters. Wow, I'm just bad at picking favorites, guys. Know that when you ask me a question about what my favorite thing is. I'm bad at those questions. But
those were a few
answer.
of his favorite things.
Yes.
I see what you did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite food? Can you at least answer that?
That's like the worst one. So many delicious snacks.
You think about it.
Hi, I'm Nick. Question for both of you. Are there any famous DC supervillains that you'd like your characters to fight at any time in the future?
I would take Brainiac from Superman for sure. Cyborg and Brainiac, I think that'd be a really cool matchup.
There's a lot that just come from the world of the Flash and various rogues. It's hard to choose a favorite. Savitar is. I really love those. A lot of those plot lines. So I'll say that for now.
Hi, I'm Credence, and my question for Ezra: how fast can you run in real life?
Do you have a speedometer? I need to find a cop and run past
A radar gun.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we ever took a measurement.
Not a speed.
Fast enough to hurt myself at the end of the gymnasium.
I mean, I could say
Remember that?
being in
That
the
was a
same
lot.
training situation, he's fast. It's
Better at speeding up than slowing down.
Yeah.
That's what we learned a couple times. There's that. I remember like the 4 pieces of equipment that were at the end, like the end of the
Dodging
track that
the
I was
sleds.
doing training on. Yeah, dodging, sure. We'll call it that. Colliding headlong into is what we could also call it, but it's the same. It's the same.
So, Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Staley are directing the Flash film. Have you met?
I did. I met them. I met them recently. They're really, really, really cool guys. I really like their work a lot.
And
I think they're really great.
And I have a question for Ray. If you did a Titans movie with like Nightwing, Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, would you want to do that? Like work with anyone?
I mean, nothing's off the table, really. I know they have a Titan show that's coming out in DC's own universe that they're doing, some sort of online deal. I haven't heard too much about it, but you'll see it represented in the live action version in that way, for sure. I mean, for me, all of these movies, the only thing that I'm looking for, as far as they're concerned, is that they have stories that like are grounded and stories that move me. You know what I mean? And that's what kind of drew me to the DC universe, as opposed to some other things that were going on. You know, it's like stories with consequence actually really appeal to me. You know, where characters are going through a recognizable struggle. You know, that I see in like everyday life. So if that translates to Titans or a Cyborg standalone or Justice League 2, as long as that's there, like I'm sold, man. I'm good with anything.
Thank you.
if you could be any Marvel character, like not play, but actually be, who would you be and why?
Professor X. For obvious reasons.
Oh, you got to accept the challenges, though. Yeah, that's a good question. You could really be one of them. Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good outfit.
A lot of stuff to enchant and such.
Yeah, like that's magic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Adam. Not to undermine you as an actor or Grant Gustin who plays the other Flash, have you ever spoken with Grant Gustin on how to be the Flash, or like his role, or like had any advice, or what it was like being the Flash?
No, I have yet to meet or speak with him, but we occasionally speak through people who ask us these questions, and we say, "Hi, Grant Gustin, I love you." So tell him that when you see him, and I'm sure we'll meet eventually. It's only a matter of time.
When the universes collide. Yeah.
It's only a matter of the dimensional barrier.
It will be an ultimate race, the kind you've never seen in this galaxy.
How much time do we have? Because I think we should just do this for
Yes.
the rest of it.
I'll only answer questions as Emperor Palpatine from now on. Question 50. Or execute order. Question.
Should be a crossover.
Oh, this is going well. This is going well. Next question.
We got about 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Angelina. I'm a huge fan of both of you, but specifically Ezra Miller. This was from a while ago, but
I am too. I like Ezra a lot more than I like myself. Wait, what?
no, you're awesome.
That's how I feel about Ray, too. 'Cause
No, when you played Patrick in Perks of Being the Wallflower, what was it like preparing for that role? Because I absolutely love that movie, and it was really like emotional.
Perks fans in the back and over here. I like it. What's up? And Pennsylvania too. It's real. Your question was about preparation.
Yeah, what was it like being Patrick and embodying that type of personality?
Oh, really, really helpful and beautiful for me, honestly, at that age. And I think that Patrick has struggles, but he deals with them in this really alchemizing, powerful way, and turns his struggles into joy that he shares with the people whom he loves. And I think that's something I aspire to be in my life. And it was a hugely confirming experience playing Patrick. I love that character so much and owe him a lot, I think. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Woo, yeah. You can clap for that. That was awesome. We left our applause sign backstage.
Live studio audience. Over here.
Hello, my name is Nick. Of course, I'll welcome you two as your characters because they're some of my favorite. But specifically, if you had to play, like, say, one of the DC villains, who would you choose?
Darkseid.
That's a good one.
You gotta go big or go home, all right?
You want to be careful. You want to say the right thing. The Riddler.
Neither of us said Lobo.
You really see either of us as a Lobo?
I would say Jason would be definitely the Lobo.
Everyone says that.
I think Jason kind of thought he was maybe auditioning for Lobo when he came in. I think he said that.
Well, listen, hey, look, once we retire Aquaman, right, he'll just go on and play Lobo immediately after.
Sounds good to me.
Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool and Green Lantern, right? He'll just go and be Lobo.
Anything's possible. Anything fun? All right, we'll have to make this the last question, unfortunately.
Okay, my Marvel superhero question was stolen from me on 2 separate occasions now, but I know that you're musically inclined, Ezra, so if you could pick any Broadway show...
So is Ray, by the way. The
Are you?
voice of
I don't
Angel.
know, I'm sorry. Well, this is for both of you. If you could be on any Broadway show tomorrow, what would it be?
Hamilton's really fun.
I would just go on stage at Springsteen on Broadway and hug him. As I saw it the other night, and I was like, I want to be in this show. But it's really just him and his wife, so that would be challenging for me. I'm setting my bar too high.
You can do it. I think you can do it. You can do it.
Thank you.
I believe in you.
Thank you. That's
Now,
so comforting.
before we depart, I have a question for you guys. Would you mind if we took a photo with you all? Would you mind?
I don't mind.
Jason, would you want to take a photo with us or for us, please? I don't know how we organize this stuff. We got such a big group. If you guys all stand up behind us, I think we can work this angle. What do we think? You get up top? Hop on the couch?
You guys want to try to move in?
Let's
Flip it towards the
Brown
front?
it on that baby.
This was a great idea. Let's figure out how we do this. There must be a way. There must be a way.
Well, we're good. All right, I think we're good right here. Let's fill
All
some
right.
of the blanks. Let's show them how we do it, Philadelphia.
Make just.
There we go.
Thank you, Philly.
Thank you guys.
I know there's a specific way you have to say Eagles. You have to spell it out first and then say it.
You do, yes.
A-G-L-E-S.
Eagles.
Oh, you're right.
No,
That is what you do.
I got in trouble for it earlier
Did you
because
really?
I just said go Eagles and everybody's like,
We don't know what those are. No, you got to say it the whole.
Yeah, I learned you have to spell it out beforehand.
Absolutely, yeah.
I
We know.
met a kid today who did that. I asked him what his name was, and he was like, G-R-A-Y, Gray. Cool.
You guys are really into spelling here. Okay, now before we start, I know this is going to seem a little weird and everything, but there's this girl right here in the very front row that is super, super nervous to ask you a question, and she didn't want to ask it, so I figured that we start this whole thing off with her question. Ask a question.
She's gonna pop the question. Here.
No, not that question.
Okay.
She wanted to ask you guys a question. Now it doesn't sound as cool.
That's fine. Either way, just call it pop the question. We'll
She
call it that.
she wanted to ask a question, and I felt like if she didn't ask it, she would regret it.
Okay.
Right? So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to let her ask the very first question of the night. All right?
Please.
Okay.
Please. No regrets. No regrets.
That's exactly. See, thank you. No regrets, right? All right. Let's do this. It all starts with you. You got it. You'll thank me later.
I wanted to ask Ezra how he prepared for his role as Credence Barebone in Fantastic Beasts.
A lot of crying. Many tears. Vomited once. I did a bunch of stuff. I was really interested in the dynamic of Credence's condition, I guess we could call it. And so, yeah, I spent some time. I spent time doing like physical choreography stuff, and I spent some time talking to some like response networks that deal with like youth at risk, who are particularly people who are struggling with domestic abuse. And yeah, and so there's this great organization called Childline in the UK, and they were really generous with me and gave me a lot of time, and I was able to speak to a bunch of people in their program. And then I did a bunch of really weird physical choreography stuff with this amazing guy named Wayne McGregor, who choreographs ballets and the like at the Royal Ballet in London. So stuff like that. Great. That was a great question.
There it is.
See, right?
Yeah, there's no question.
Are you happy to get to ask me now?
Why you would regret that? You'd be like, oh, why did I ask him how he prepared his role? So embarrassing.
Ezra Miller just said you had a great question. How cool is
Do you see
that?
that sign right behind? There's a sign shaking immediately behind it. It says, Extraordinary Ezra.
And that's my extraordinary friend. as well, who I met earlier today. Hello. How are you?
So I want to get to know you guys just a little bit here before we jump into some roles and stuff like this. What do you guys enjoy? Like, you spend a long day on the set. What do you like to come home, watch on TV or movies or
Video games. Video games, man. I'm a big gamer. We're actually down there playing Dragon Ball Fighters a little bit earlier. I got some friends and family that I play online with as well. So yeah, a lot of Nintendo Switch and stuff like that.
Are you a big anime fan?
Yes. And Ezra is as well. I know.
Oh, nice. I enjoy
Metal
things
is
like video games and anime, slushies, and lemon lime. It's delicious.
All the teams, all of them.
Yeah.
So since you like anime, do you like Pokemon?
I mean, I've been known to play a little Pokemon, and Pokemon Go, and Poke Tournament, and Pokemon the trading card game,
that makes
all the different things.
That makes me very happy to hear.
Okay.
I'm a Pokemon YouTuber. That's what I do, and so I'm very happy.
Really now?
Yeah.
So now we got to interview you. No.
No. Way less boring.
Exactly. Way less boring.
Oh,
that's what we want.
Yeah.
Give the people what they want. Don't you want to hear about his Pokemon
YouTube channel?
Don't. God, I'm sweating now. You're embarrassing me.
It's
sweating.
No, we spent a lot of time hanging out as well, like outside of that. We had a lot of like downtime during the shooting process where we get together, play Jason's instruments. He had a whole like plethora. He had a whole band in his trailer, and it was cool. I think the on-camera moments were really fun and really magical. But being able to spend the amount of time with the people that we were doing it with, like that, to me was like that was the experience,
No, that sounds awesome.
Ray played a lot of Pokemon on set. I want to be clear about it.
Pokemon Go, I was riding around a little golf cart.
There's golf carts that are to move around equipment and people who are supposed to go to
Not
set.
They're like, where's Ray? We got to shoot in 5 minutes. And I'm just like by a fence trying to reach over and get a little bit of signal. Get like Poke Gym over in Harry Potter World. It wasn't working.
So favorite Pokemon then?
What would it be? Primate. I like Primate.
Wow.
Yeah,
really?
I really do. I don't know why. Don't ask me. It makes no sense.
Do you have a favorite one, Ezra?
I'm not a huge Pokemon guy, but the Geode, the guy
Geodude?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I like that guy a lot. Just a rock with arms. What a fantastic character. They were cooking that one up. They were like, what's the next Pokemon we're going to create? Oh, got it.
Rock with arms.
I see it now.
We've already got plant with legs. We got rock with arms coming up.
One question I always like to ask big celebrities such as yourself, when you have toys and things out in the store, is that like super weird to see? Like you're just strolling through Target after you just had some Panera Bread.
You mean we're running into Target to see our action figure the second it comes out? We're just strolling through Target. We're like, oh, look, it's our action
There's
figure.
me.
That's exactly what we're doing. We're like, oh, yeah, it's our action figure.
Well,
typically, we're there at 6 a.m. to open Target.
With the
collectors. It's not Black Friday at all, but we're there.
I'll pay full price for that. Give me that.
Do you everything that you see, do you buy?
No. Generally, what happens is the production crew will send us a bunch of stuff that I have to tell my mom, hey, listen, there's going to be a ton of junk coming, like you can't hold it all. Let's give something away. And she's just like, nah.
That's the one action figure that we don't have. You understand?
Yeah, no, it's kind of weird. I'm like, you know what? When I come home now, I like don't want to see myself. You know what I mean? I'm fine not having like me around for a bit.
It's starting to haunt you. All the cyborgs.
Just a little bit in the night.
You wake up in the night in your cyborg quilt.
My cyborg pajamas just shivering in it.
25 red eyes.
The moon bouncing off the metallic helmet of the cyborg action figure.
Blue eye data stream things.
Yeah, no. So after a while, it's like, oh, it's really cool. It's what I really like is the fan art.
Okay,
People are super creative, and I've seen some really good fan art even here. Just in their interpretations of the characters. I was like, where'd you get this from? Like, oh, I drew that in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, how?
Right? Yeah. Like, I can't even draw a circle on this.
That's what I'm saying.
I know. These people are talented, man.
There's some talented people here. Yes, I totally agree with that. And did you guys realize, like, I mean, obviously we know superheroes are a big thing. I mean, it's huge in pop culture and just mainstream. It's mainstream now. It didn't used to be. Did you realize like what you were getting into before you even filmed and got on set? Did you realize like, man, I'm forever Cyborg, I'm forever the Flash now?
Well, you know, it's interesting because like we've had so many like incarnations of certain superheroes at this point.
Yeah.
Right now, it kind of feels like you don the mantle because there was a Cyborg before in a different capacity.
Yeah.
We had the animated version. There was also a version on Smallville. It's like I'm the Cyborg right now, you know. And when that time is over, I'll gladly hand it to the next person that's going to pick up the torch and keep it moving. You know, but I think there is something really, really special, and it's coming to events like this where you actually get to meet people who are just as passionate about the things you're doing as you are, and being able to like interact with them in this kind of way. Because the movies can be a little, you know, you can be a little distant from your base and from your audience, but like, I mean, the passion and the caring that people do with respect to these characters, it's like you really can't beat it, man. You really can't.
Because there's levels to it, right? I mean, it's like, yes.
That's my mom clapping. I'm really loving it. My mom and my family over here in the front 2 rows over here. Trying to ignore them. Yeah. Turns out Jerry's like 15 minutes away. So, came up to show love to all the friends and family, so.
Okay, now I want to make sure, I don't want to take up too much time up here because I know that we have a lot of fans that want to ask some burning questions. So, is it okay if we get to some fan questions?
Oh my gosh, yes.
All right, we're going to just kind of hop back and forth. So,
all good.
Let's start over here.
Hi. So I want to start off by saying, Ezra, I love your nail polish.
Oh, thank you.
As do I.
Both. Thank you both so much.
Okay, so in the DCEU, both of you play very different characters. The Flash is very fun and bubbly, and Cyborg is very serious. So my question was, do either of you ever think about switching or want to switch roles so that you can play the other type of emotions?
That's a great idea. We should do like
swap.
Like we should do like a Broadway run, you know.
I'll play the Flash and you play Cyborg.
No, every night we switch. You know what I mean? Like,
They did that. Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart did
some great ones. Yeah, John C. Reilly and Philip.
Sorry, we're getting off into weird theater land. Yeah, I think so. But I think part of that is also going to be like how the stories seem to evolve. You know what I mean? Like the Flash will probably be faced with some pretty serious circumstances that take him out of like the funny way, and the same with Cyborg. It's like once things start going better in his life, we see him start to open up more to the people around him. And so I'm interested to see like where the stories go, and hopefully the storytellers will have a very varied sense as to like what as to the story they want to tell with it and where these characters are going to go. But I mean, I want Cyborg to have all the ups and downs.
Cyborg could, you know, gain access to the Speed Force, and Barry would get technological parts, and then you just don't know. We could technically end it. We just don't know.
Yeah, with the multiverse, like anything's possible. So.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll jump over here.
Hello. Oh, that's loud. Hey guys. So I have a question for Ray. So I know it's been some time, but I hope you still got some garnet blood. Russian
Garnet
Gold
3HS.
So
it's at Heights High School, just to
so with that, I was wondering if you still know how to do the garnet shuffle, and will you do it?
Thank you for that question.
I'll do it with you.
Because he does. He was just telling me about this the other day.
You know what's
he said,
funny?
you know what I still do all the time?
The garnet shuffle. That's the only thing too.
Your sister said that to me the other day.
That's true. I actually did say that. I'm actually pretty sure when I graduated high school, I don't think the garnet shuffle was actually a thing at that point in time. Was it a thing? I got some friends from high school.
We got
confirmation.
high school friends.
So this may be a newer phenomenon, but I'll definitely learn it.
Do you want me to teach it to you right now?
Will you please come?
Please show us the garnet shuffle. Please.
Because if you didn't do that, it would be a massive waste of a huge opportunity. And I think everybody in this audience feels that.
All right, how's it going? No pressure.
What is your name? Alex.
Nice to meet you.
Everybody, to whatever your ability,
prepare yourselves for the
maybe
garnet
if
shuffle.
you'd like to get up and join us, I would like that a lot. People want to get up.
No, or you don't have to.
Or not, that's fine,
We'll try
guys.
it, yeah.
Don't all get up at once. It'll cause a commotion.
Absolutely. I'll do my best. Sure.
Yeah, do you want to take the microphone though so you can tell us how it's going to happen? Because otherwise we won't be able to hear you.
Okay, thank you. Alright, so it goes, everybody to the garnet shuffle, everybody to the garnet shuffle.
I will never forget how to do the garnet shuffle. I will. I absolutely will. All right, have fun. See? It's good to be home. Oh, sorry, I got one here. You want yours or you can have mine?
Either one.
And just like you were saying, moments like this, coming to the Comic-Con. Wizard World Comic-Con, you get to do things like that.
Every time. Get you every time. There's at least 1 or 2 experiences you're like, you know what? Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Is that the first time you've ever done that on stage?
Did what?
The garden shuffle, is that what it was?
That's the first time I've done the garden shuffle. Period. Ever in life. I just learned it. Just
It's everything he missed in high school just happened to him right now.
I feel like I'm caught up.
All at once.
Yeah.
Overwhelming. Are you okay?
It was probably the most useful.
I'm moved. I feel very moved.
I do. I feel like a sense of like the garnet pride within me. It's growing.
Have you ever been back to your high school since?
Yeah. No, I've gone for sure. They still. I started doing theater in high school, so I've gone back and seen some shows every now and then, and seen the old teachers.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, the ones that are still there. So. Yeah.
All right, let's jump over here and get another question.
Okay, my question is for Ezra, and I was wondering if you preferred the role of Credence or the Flash.
Oh, no preference at all. I couldn't choose between any of my babies.
But we all secretly have a favorite child, so...
What?
Secretly?
Wow, okay. I'm gonna let that one hang in the air in this big auditorium.
Which one of us was your favorite?
Yeah, seriously, I don't... You think that? You really think that?
Everybody secretly has a favorite child, I think. I honestly do.
Yeah, Mom?
Anybody?
Mom? No. Is it me?
All right.
I'm going to speak for Ezra. It's probably the Flash because he gets to hang out with us. You know, that's probably his favorite. If not for the character, then just for the comedy.
It doesn't feel better for me that you're choosing one of my children.
You can only have one.
No, but I really love so much about both of them, and it's wonderful to play them both and to walk back and forth between those two worlds because they are very different, and they both feed me in different ways and challenge me in different ways.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, jump over here now.
All right, Ezra, I had a question when I saw you there earlier. The question is, would you rather be the Flash for the rest of your career, or would you rather team back up with Emma Watson in the Harry Potter series?
Gosh, choose more children. This is intense, guys. What is going on? I can't do both. This is terrible.
Flash,
no, I
for
can't
sure.
choose such a thing. Yeah, Ray will keep choosing, but I don't.
For the same reason as the last.
I don't condone this. I don't condone what's happening here. I love playing the Flash. I love Emma Watson so much. And no, I won't answer these questions. Stop with the comparative questions. You're tearing me apart over here.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Hi, I have a question for both of you. Who is your favorite superhero?
Oh, growing up for me, I had two favorites. Batman, of course.
Me too.
And Blade. Those are two of my
Thank you.
You don't get that answer, Ezra.
You said Batman, I said me too.
Okay,
That's the end of the conversation for me.
Ezra, your sock and shoe game are on point. I'll say it before I say it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That was your question. Thank you very much.
You only get one.
Well, it's not a question, it's a statement.
That is also
If I had to choose between my shoes, I would choose the right one.
If you
because I feel I can hop better on my right foot. It is the stronger foot.
But wouldn't the left foot need it a little bit more? A little bit more of the cushion? What do you think? Uh-oh, here we go, here we go.
Gotta hop on one foot or the other.
This is true.
I'm not gonna dirty these beautiful red socks.
They are very nice.
If I lose one of these shoes, I'm hopping for the rest of Comic-Con.
Yes, what is a passion project that you would like to complete one day, whether it's writing, directing, Broadway, TV, or movies, like going into some type of franchise? What's something you would like to be part of?
Circus.
Can you elaborate on that?
What?
Can you elaborate?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. I'd like
circus.
Or do I have to though? I mean,
just regular circus or like circus du Soleil?
Someone was like, trapeze. We're having a great conversation now. This person and I. See, that's how I like a good conversation. I say circus. Trapeze. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. No, I would love to do a thing where you don't like rely on any I just love the idea of having your own tent. Is that more elaborate?
Yeah.
How am I doing here, guys? How's this Q&A going? Are we doing it? We're doing it.
Tent.
We did the shuffle. We circus.
Tents. We made hard choices.
I just want to come into town and I want to shoot a crossbow like the Three Musketeers with a flyer on it that says, "Come to my circus."
Ye Ezra Circus. My thing is like I agree in a certain way with the circus, but also like things that don't exist forever, right? Like movies and TV, that kind of stuff. It's going to be around for a very, very, very long time. There's something nice about having something that's just there in the moment, and then you have to be there. If you can be there, you can be there. If not, it's just gone.
Speak it.
That's what theater's been for me, at least.
Impermanence.
And you're able to forget, just in case you don't have a great experience, you're able to forget about it because it's gone now.
Transient.
Circus.
Wabi sabi.
Comme si, comme ça.
Yeah.
All of it.
Wabi sabi is the ancient Japanese art philosophy where nothing lasts.
Is that the art that they make and then destroy?
Yeah.
Context clues.
You are smart.
Yes, he is.
Alright, so if the DC universe and the Marvel universe cross...
DC.
Hold on. Don't mean to start a controversy. If the DC Marvel universe cross together and there's one big movie where it's the Avengers and the Justice League, but the cast had to swap, which Avenger would both of you be and why?
At the moment, I feel like we're significantly outnumbered. Like, we have a big pick. We have a large pick.
It's like Italian for us to pick. They got about 6.
I've said this before. I'd love to play Fury.
Yeah.
I'd love to play like an old, a different version than the current version, but like old. I loved those comics when I was growing up. I loved like really scary, like war traumatized, like morally injured Fury.
Can we pick outside of the MCU, or can I pick an X-Man or an X-person?
Yes.
All right. I probably want to play the Wolverine.
That'd be great. Good pick. Have you guys seen that ADR? Have you seen the ADR session with him for Logan?
Growling.
Yeah. Oh, no, not just growling. He's like taking swipes and like running in the booth.
Yeah, man.
It's incredible. Have you guys seen that? YouTube it. It's amazing.
It's really good.
ADR session.
Thank you.
We'll help over here.
My question is for Ezra. Will you ever make a cameo in the Flash TV show?
Ooh, wow. That was great. Sorry, just the question and then the sound was great. I don't know. The silence worked for me too, and the slightly uncomfortable laughter wave that followed.
Okay, yeah, we'll go over here.
Sorry, guys. Hey, how you doing? Ray, I got to say thank you for the booyah in the movie. And for those that are Cyborg fans there, so thank you for that. My question is, a lot of us have favorite characters in movies that we've seen in our lives. You guys probably have some favorites that are there. If you had the opportunity to play a character from your childhood from a movie, what character would you like to play?
Any movie? Not super.
Any movie at all.
I mean, it's strange, but I kind of want to be in Batman Returns. It's really weird. I'd play anybody in that, to be honest with you. Be Christopher Walken, be Max Shrek. Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed as Batman?
Because he is Batman, you moron.
Was.
Thank you. You've been practicing that, haven't you?
I mean, it's one I watch very often, more often than I
practice.
care.
This is a way of life. This is a practice, like a spiritual practice. You can't rehearse that.
No, you really can't.
That's deep. That's deep in his bones. Maybe Alex from A Clockwork Orange. I watched that movie a lot when I was young. Maybe Norman Bates. I watched that movie a lot. I was really into some dark material as a child. The Wizard of Oz. I really love The Wizard of Oz, but maybe would want to play the Tin Man. I think that would be really fun. And the makeup isn't poisonous anymore, or at least that's what they tell us now.
The CGI you would be fine. It'd be good. All computer-generated graphics.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I wouldn't even be there. I've already theoretically played the Tin Man.
Coming out next summer, 2019.
Yeah. That's the headline. That's the headline takeaway from this Q&A. Ezra Miller confirms he will play the Tin Man.
he will, has, and he will continuously play the Tin Man in every multiverse reality. Sorry.
Ezra Miller will only play the Tin Man from here on out. Don't offer him any other jobs. Please don't make that the headline. I am kidding. I am kidding. Oh, that's the soundbite. Dang it.
But you're playing the Tin Man in the Flash, though. Like, in the Flash movie, that's what you'd be playing. It's the Tin Man. They're switching you out.
Look, I can't tell you anything about the Flash movie. Even whether I'm playing the Tin Man.
I tried, guys. I tried. All right, let's hop over here.
My question for both of you is, how was it like to be the Flash?
The multiversity questions continue. Pay attention, people. Mandela effect and stuff.
It was great for me to play the Flash.
I had a good time too.
Ezra sure did well as well.
But probably what...
More to the point, yeah. You think, what?
Yeah, well, you played Cyborg also.
Yes, I did. There was a film in which I did play Cyborg once. That was really fun. At times it was a little awkward being in pajamas. But I had a lot of fun with Ezra, Jason, the whole crew, Zach. Like, it was kind of magical. You know, I said immediately after, I was like, listen, if this is all I'm blessed to do, you know, I'm content. You know, I've done what I set out.
And you kept a nice pair of pajamas as well.
Absolutely. I burned those as soon as we got finished.
I picture you in an empty meadow, just a soul fire as the moon rises.
A single tear going down, watching the flames rise.
All right, goodbye, my old friend.
Thank you.
All right.
You got it.
Hi. Oh my God. Sorry. Hi, I'm Mabel, and I want to start off. I love your fashion sense, Ezra. It's beautiful.
Thank
I'm such a huge fan. So, what was your favorite part of playing Fantastic Beasts?
You know, I guess going into it, I would have thought my immediate answer would have been being involved in the wizarding world in any way whatsoever. And that's still true. Again, that was one of my favorite parts. It will always be one of my favorite parts because it blows my mind and it kind of melts my heart that you know, to look back on the meaning of that material for me as a young person. But ultimately, what I think ended up being my real favorite part was working with a group of people who we get to work with on those films, and the incredible cast and crew, and you know, the writer, and the director, and our incredible producers who are just amazing. And it's just incredibly fun. It almost feels like an old-fashioned filmmaking experience, but in like a positive way, like without all of the like horrible stuff and recklessness and worker mistreatment and racism that accompanied old-time filmmaking. But it had like this really wonderful energy that's been on those sets, and then I also really love exploring the characters. Wow, I'm just bad at picking favorites, guys. Know that when you ask me a question about what my favorite thing is. I'm bad at those questions. But
those were
a
few of his favorite things.
Yes.
I see what you did.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite food? Can you at least answer that?
That's like the worst one. So many delicious snacks. You think about it.
Hi, I'm Nick. Question for both of you. Are there any famous DC supervillains that you'd like your characters to fight at any time in the future?
I would take Brainiac from Superman for sure. Cyborg and Brainiac, I think that'd be a really cool matchup.
There's a lot that just come from the world of the Flash and various rogues. It's hard to choose a favorite. Sabotage, I really love those. A lot of those plot lines. So I'll say that for now.
Hi, I'm Credence, and my question for Ezra: how fast can you run in real life?
Do you have a speedometer? I need to find a cop and run past
a radar gun.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we ever took a measurement.
Not a speed.
Fast enough to hurt myself at the end of the gymnasium.
I mean, I could say
Remember that?
being in
That
the
was a
same
lot.
training situation, he's fast.
Better at speeding up than slowing down.
Yeah.
That's what we learned a couple times. There's that. I remember like the 4 pieces of equipment that were at the end, like the end of the track that I was doing training on. Yeah. Dodging, sure. We'll call it that. Colliding headlong into is what we could also call it, but it's the same.
So, Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Staley are directing the Flash film. Have you met?
I did. I met them. I met them recently. They're really, really, really cool guys. I really like their work a lot. And I think they're really great.
And I have a question for Ray. If you did a Titans movie with like Nightwing, Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, would you want to do that? Like work with anyone?
I mean, nothing's off the table, really. I know they have a Titan show that's coming out in DC's own universe that they're doing, some sort of online deal. I haven't heard too much about it, but you'll see it represented in the live action version in that way, for sure. I mean, for me, all of these movies, the only thing that I'm looking for, as far as they're concerned, is that they have stories that like are grounded and stories that kind of that move me. You know what I mean? And that's what kind of drew me to the DC universe, as opposed to some other things that were going on. You know, it's like stories with consequence actually really appeal to me. You know, where characters are going through recognizable struggle. You know, that I see in like everyday life. So if that translates to Titans or a Cyborg standalone or Justice League 2, as long as that's there, like I'm sold, man. I'm good with anything.
Thank you.
If you could be any Marvel character, like not play but actually be, who would you be and why?
Professor X. For obvious reasons.
Oh, you got to accept the challenges, though. Yeah, that's a good question. If you could really be one of them. Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
It's a good outfit.
A lot of stuff to enchant and such.
Yeah, like that's magic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Adam. Not to undermine you as an actor or Grant Gustin who plays the other Flash, have you ever spoken with Grant Gustin on how to be the Flash, or like his role, or like had any advice, or what it was like being the Flash?
No, I have yet to meet or speak with him, but we occasionally speak through people who ask us these questions, and we say, "Hi, Grant Gustin, I love you." So tell him that when you see him, and I'm sure we'll meet eventually. It's only a matter of time.
When the universes collide.
Yeah. It's only a matter of the dimensional barrier.
It will be an ultimate race, the kind you've never seen in this galaxy.
How much time do we have? Because I think we should just do this for the rest of it.
I'll only answer questions as Emperor Palpatine from now on. Question this or execute order. Question.
Should be a crossover.
Oh, this is going well. Next question.
We got about 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Angelina. I'm a huge fan of both of you, but specifically Ezra Miller. This was from a while ago, but...
I am too. I like Ezra a lot more than I like myself. Wait, what?
No, you're awesome.
That's how I feel about Ray, too.
When you played Patrick in Perks of Being the Wallflower, what was it like preparing for that role? Because I absolutely love that movie, and it was really like emotional.
Perks fans in the back and over here. I like it. What's up? Pennsylvania, too. It's real. Your question was about preparation?
Yeah, what was it like being Patrick and, embodying that type of personality?
Oh, really, really helpful and beautiful for me, honestly, at that age. And, I think that Patrick has struggles, but he deals with them in this really alchemizing, powerful way, and turns his struggles into joy that he shares with the people whom he loves. And I think that's something I aspire to be in my life. And it was a hugely confirming experience playing Patrick. I love that character so much and owe him a lot, I think. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Woo, yeah. You can clap for that. That was awesome. We left our applause sign backstage.
Live studio audience. Over here.
Hello, my name is Nick. Of course, I love you two as your characters because they're some of my favorite. But specifically, if you had to play, like, say, one of the DC villains, who would you choose?
Darkseid.
That's a good one.
You gotta go big or go home, all right?
You want to be careful. You want to say the right thing. The Riddler.
Neither of us said Lobo?
You really see either of us as a Lobo?
I would say Jason would be definitely the Lobo.
Everyone says that.
I think Jason kind of thought he was maybe auditioning for Lobo when he came in. I think he said that.
Well, listen, hey, look, once we retire Aquaman, right, he'll just go on and play Lobo immediately after.
Sounds good to me.
Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool and Green Lantern, right? He'll just go and be Lobo.
Anything's possible. All right, we'll have to make this the last question, unfortunately.
Okay, my Marvel superhero question was stolen from me on 2 separate occasions now, but I know that you're musically inclined, Ezra, so if you could pick any Broadway show...
So is Ray, by the way. The
Are you?
voice of an
I don't
angel.
know, I'm sorry. Well, this is for both of you. If you could be on any Broadway show tomorrow, what would it be?
Hamilton's really fun.
I would just go on stage at Springsteen on Broadway and hug him. As I saw it the other night, and I was like, I want to be in this show. But it's really just him and his wife, so that would be challenging for me. I'm setting my bar too high.
You can do it. I think you can do it.
You can do it.
Thank you.
I believe in you.
Thank you.
That's
Now,
so comforting.
before we depart, I have a question for you guys. Would you mind if we took a photo with you all? Would you mind?
I don't mind.
Jason, would you want to take a photo with us or for us, please? I don't know how we organize this stuff. We got such a big group. If you guys all stand up behind us, I think we can work this angle. What do we think? You get up top? Hop on the couch?
You guys want to try to move in?
Let's
a little bit more
this,
Crowd it on in, baby.
this was a great idea. Let's figure out how we do this. There must be a way. There must be a way.
Well, we're good. All right, I think we're good right here. Let's fill
All
some
right.
of the blanks. Let's show them how we do it, Philadelphia.
Make